Next, Lisa Knutson. Did I say that right? One more time? Nice. She's a Senior VP of Human Resources at the EW Scripps Company and is here to talk to all of us today. Her talk is titled A Cultural Reset, Redefining the Employee Value Proposition. I'm really excited to hear this one. So, Lisa, come on up.
Great, thank you. Thank you for being here today. I have been with Scripps for the last 5 years as the head of HR for the last almost 2.5 years. And boy, the last 2 years, 18 months have just been a huge impact, I think, on our employee value proposition, but I'm sure also within your companies. Just a little bit about Scripps. We're a diverse media company from coast to coast. So we have newspaper and TV stations, you know, as I said, as far north as almost Seattle and down to WPTV in West Palm. So all across the country, we have lots of unions. We have about 5,000 employees. And here in town, of course, I have to put a plug in for WCPO. So. And you can see, give light and the people will find their own way is our company motto. And I think that's important as we talk about culture and what EW Scripps is all about. I love this quote. I found this not too long ago, and it's by Howard Schultz, Chairman and President, CEO of Starbucks. And he asked the question, what's the most important function when you're starting an organization or setting up the kind of culture and values that are going to endure? So I'll give you $1 for everyone who gets the answer correct, but obviously the answer is HR. And I think we are, as my quote at the top is, we really are keepers of the culture within human resources. I'm not sure if you all feel that way, but certainly Raphael, when he was describing recruiting, I mean, that's the first sense that employees get of your culture is meeting those recruiters. And so it's so important that we carry that sort of mission forward within HR. So the employee value proposition, also known, we call it in our company, the employment deal. What employees can expect from the company and what the company expects from its employees. It includes things like pay, benefit, development opportunities, and your work environment, right? And I'm not sure if you can see these things at the bottom, but they're actually the opposite of probably trying to get engaged employees, but they're the reality of what's happened over the last 18 months to many of us. Salary freezes, pension freezes, reorgs, downsizing, and I'm sad to say, in many ways, but all of these but one, we actually introduced at Scripps. I was calling it the scorched earth policy as it pertained to HR. I mean, if there was anything that we could do to cut costs in 2009, we did it, and including furloughs, pay cuts. It started with pay freezes, of course, then went to pay cuts, then furloughs. We froze our pension plan. We suspended our 401k match. So from an HR perspective, we did everything the opposite of what you would expect to do to engage and retain employees. But we had to do it, and we communicated throughout the process the purpose of why we were doing that. And so this slide really speaks to that. You know, companies build culture intentionally or unintentionally every day and with the decisions that you make. And within the last 18 months, as I said, because of the recession and the economic crisis, potentially companies have compromised or changed their culture or have begun to change their culture without them really even knowing it or being intentional about it. With a cultural reset, companies can define intentionally, and I'll use that word quite a bit, intentional about defining what parts of their culture they want to keep, what do they want to discontinue, what do they want to expand or change, and ensure that the company has the best chance of success for many generations. And then building culture involves defining what your company wants to be, so your vision, your mission, those types of things, and it really should draw upon those. So understanding and making sure that you understand the vision and mission, your business objectives, your core values, leadership characteristics, so those things that are important in up-and-coming leaders within your organization, and then really working through this exercise of a cultural reset, defining the desired behaviors that you want in employees going forward really helps to influence the culture. So this is a little bit of a process. So understand the current deal, because it's probably changed, and don't assume that you know it, because employees will tell you what it is today. And then develop what you expect and be very intentional about what you expect the deal to be, or the value proposition going forward. Do the gap analysis. So where are we today? Where do we want to be? And then obviously work through the process to get to where you want to be. Establish priorities and an action plan. So starting with mission, vision, and business objectives. So do you still have the right ones? In light of everything that's happened to our organization and to other organizations, really examining that, taking a step back with the senior leaders to say, do we have the right vision, mission, and business objectives in place to where we want to be in the future? Do the messages that we intentionally or unintentionally transmit every day, are they in alignment with the vision, mission, and business objectives? Nothing more confusing to employees as you make decisions and don't explain either the context or how they really support what you're trying to accomplish from a business perspective. And then what are the desired behaviors? This was probably the most fun exercise that we went through as an organization, really saying, what do we expect out of our employees? Some of which is aspirational, and some of which are things that are just ingrained in who we are as an organization. So what do we expect? I think desired behaviors are probably different for every organization. They support where the business is going. They're needed to ensure business success, and they set the tone for the types of people that you want in your organization, both the ones that are already here and the ones that are hopefully to come. And then defining core messages. So we have a set of core messages that are threads throughout all of our communications. And I think Gabby said it, they support purpose. And so an example of a message about our people might be that we want our folks to be responsible and accountable for really for themselves within the organization and business results, but it manifests itself in our benefit programs. So we want people to be responsible for their health, their wealth, and their careers. And so as an example, under benefits, we're moving to all high deductible health plans in 2011. So employees will be much more engaged in their health and how they consume medical care going forward. Two sets of action. This is really an action plan as to how you would go about sort of resetting the culture or making sure that the culture hasn't gotten away from you over the last several years. So validate your mission and vision, as we talked about, defining what you want in the future, including those desired behaviors. Develop the core messages that support where you're going. We are a media company, so we do videos, we do all of those types of things. We use a lot of social media internally with employees. And then influencing the desired behaviors. So making sure that, again, that the desired behaviors are embedded in your people programs. So talent management, recruiting, so on and so forth. Repeat the core messages, do the surveys, both as a baseline and then on an annual basis to make sure that where you're headed is exactly where you want to go. And that really speaks to monitoring the process. So, thank you.